Okay. So, the word problems that we're going to be doing to start us out with this are going to be pretty straightforward. We're going to develop it into something a little more complex as we go, but for now, we're going to keep it so that if you are pretty eagle-eyed and if you follow a pretty similar pattern, you're going to do fine. But as we go, they're going to get a little more complicated, and you'll have to be a little more savvy about what numbers you pick out. But for now, just to get us like rolling, just to get us on the ball, they're going to be pretty simple. So let's say that we have, I don't know, we're throwing a monster ball, like a dance for monsters. So we're throwing a, because you know we have our winter dance coming up, but we're gonna throw one that's like for monsters. So we're throwing a monster ball. And at this monster ball, we're going to charge, so we will charge $5 for zombies. Sorry, that's $5 for zombies. And $3 for Frankensteins. Okay. So $5 for zombies and $3 for Frankensteins. Sorry, I just need to catch my thought for a second here. We need to make grab a calculator really quickly to make sure that our numbers don't come out super bad. $95 total. We also need to have 25, not people, monsters come. Alright. So $5 for zombies, $3 for Frankensteins. We need to make $95, and we need to have 25 monsters come. So there needs to be at least 25 monsters, and we have a certain amount of money we need to make. Okay? You guys with me so far?
Yeah.
So step number one about how we're going to create our equations here. So first, if you hadn't known, the first thing you should do is thoroughly read the problem. And then step number one, you should go through and underline any numbers. Because any numbers may or may not end up being important. For now, since we're just starting this out, it's almost a sure thing that any number you see is going to be important. But as we go forward, I might throw in numbers that are just going to be there to like throw you off. Like I might throw in dates, or I might throw in specific information that you don't need to have. But for now, it's almost certain that any numbers are going to be important. Okay? You what? Yes, I might throw in that Mr. Taft likes watermelons 95 times more than he likes oranges, and that's completely unrelated.
How many apples are there?
Sure. You all have seen those Facebook posts about like what people think math is like. Okay. It's not how it is. It's super not. It's super not. So I'm just going to go through and I'm going to underline my important numbers here. So I've got $5 for zombies, $3 for Frankensteins, and then 95 total, and then 25 monsters that we want to have come. It's a super lot of monsters, especially those Frankensteins, because they take up a lot of space. So,
Really huge though. That's why.
Your people too.
number two. Okay, so step number two. So we need two variables. So we need to decide on what the two variables are going to be and what they are. So what are our two things that are unknown, and what are the variables we're going to use for them? So what are the two things that we don't know? Number of zombies and number of Frankensteins, right? Now, you can choose whatever variable you want for zombies and whatever variable you want for Frankensteins. I have an idea in my head, but you can use whatever variable you want for them. So Juju, if you want to use a specific variable on your paper, and Riley wants to use a different variable on her paper, and Elijah wants to use a different variable on his, that's fine. Okay? So, the two things we don't know is we don't know the number of zombies, and we don't know the number of Frankensteins. I have a friend who would point out that it's not Frankenstein, it's Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah.
And then I would almost always point out to him that the monster is the one who points that out. But whatever. Anyway. Okay. So, Juju, since I heard you first, I'm sure other people said it too. Since I heard you first, what variable do you want to use for zombies? Okay, Z. And Juju, what variable do you want to use for Frankensteins? A? Okay. Now, if you want to use different variables on your paper, feel free. If you want to draw a little picture of a brain for zombies and a little picture of like a stitched up head for Frankensteins, that's fine. Yeah, that's an option. Okay? They're just variables. Just whatever placeholder you want. Okay? Now, we also, so step number 3, we also need 2 equations. Now, those 2 equations in this case, one equation is going to come from the amount of money we need, and the second equation is going to come from the amount of monsters are attending. So one of those is easier to come up with than the other. Now, Annabelle, it sounds like you might have an idea on how to come up with one of them. Okay? Okay. Z plus A equals 25. So that's awesome. So we already have one of our 2 equations done. Zombies plus Frankenstein's monsters has to equal 25. So we have to have 25 total monsters there. Z plus A has to equal 25. Cool. So we got one of our equations done already. Now, so we've used this 25 and we've used the Z and A. Now we have to figure out how to use the 5, the 3, and the 95. Okay? So, okay, Elijah, 5Z, you're plus 3A equals 95. Awesome job. Perfect. Nice job, Elijah. Do you guys see how Elijah got that? So if you do $5 times the number of zombies, you'll get how much the zombies are paying. Plus $3 times the number of Frankenstein's monsters, you'll get how much the Frankenstein's monsters are paying. And then when you add those 2 together, that has to equal 95 bucks, because that's how much money we need from this monsters ball. Kind of, sort of? All right. Now, take a look at this kind of equation we've set up, this system of equations. We have 2 equations. We don't have it set up so that we have Z equals something or A equals something. But do we have a coefficient of 1 anywhere in here? Yeah. We do, right? We have a coefficient of 1 here, and we have a coefficient of 1 here. So we can solve for either Z or A in the top equation and use substitution into the other equation, right? Okay, so Emily, we're going to take this top equation, we're going to take Z plus A equal to 25, and we're going to solve it for either zombies or Frankenstein's monsters. Which one do you want to solve for?
Zombies.
Okay, so that means we need to get Frankenstein's monsters on the other side. How do we get rid of that? So I'm going to minus A from both sides. So then what are zombies equal to?
Zombies are equal to what? 25 minus
Cool, 25 minus A. Now I'm going to take what zombies are equal to, and I'm going to substitute them in for zombies into the other equation up here. Now, when I do that, Christina, could you tell me what to rewrite this other equation as, please?
5 times 5 parentheses 25 minus A close parentheses plus 3A.
Mm-hmm.
95.
Perfect. Nice job. All right. Now I have to do what next here, Gareth? Distribute. So I'm going to do 5 times 25 and 5 times minus a. And so what does that turn into? 5 times 25 is not 410. I'm asking Gareth, though. It's not 110 either. Gareth, what's 125? Okay. And Gareth, what's 5 times minus a? So minus 5a. And then I just drop everything else down. Plus 3a equal to 95. Okay, cool. Now I have to combine like terms here. So Andrea, what's negative 5a plus 3a? Negative 2a. And then this is equal to 95. And I drop down 125. All right. Now I have to do what next here, Nathan? So I've got 125 minus 2a equals 95. What do I have to do next? So I'm going to subtract 125 from both sides. And this cancels. What's 95 minus 125, Nathan? Yeah, you. There we go, negative 30. You got to respect that negative. And then we got negative 2a over here. Michael, what's the final answer for a then? Positive 15 or negative 15? Okay, positive 15. So I've already got one of my answers here. How many Frankenstein's monsters are going to be there? 15. So my answer shouldn't just be 15 because this is a word problem. I need to have a unit on it. So I'm going to go all the way back up here, and I'm going to say 15 Frankenstein's monsters. Frankenstein's apostrophe S, because it's his monsters. You guys have you ever noticed how like Reese's Pieces, it's apostrophe S?
Yeah.
Like there's some guy named Reese who eventually could come and be like, those are mine.
Yeah, those are mine.
Well, it's an apostrophe S. It's a possessive.
Is that what Reese
Those are mine.
It's a possessive. Have you never noticed that? It's Reese's apostrophe S.
Yeah.
So he could just take them back at any time.
Right.
You could just walk
They
up
belong
and be
to
like, hey,
Reese.
those are mine.
So technically, us eating them is illegal?
I don't know.
I
No,
want
and
I
they
think
can
that's
just
what
walk
it's
up
saying.
to you while you're eating them.
Okay.
Hey, those
So
are
anyway, back to this. Okay. So zombies plus Frankenstein's monsters are 25. We have 15 Frankenstein's monsters. How many zombies?
25.
No. 25 total. 15 Frankenstein's monsters. How many zombies?
10.
So we got to have 10 zombies. Make sure you're putting a unit on this because this is a word problem. 10 zombies.
Well, I mean, he sold it.
But it's still apostrophe S. It's like it's his pieces.
So then he made them.
Yeah, but it's still it's always bugged me since I was a kid that it's apostrophe S. Ever since I learned about possessive.
Why are
Yeah.
they his?
Well, because I put because it's Frankenstein's monster, apostrophe S, Frankenstein's monster. It bugs me. Sorry. Off topic. Okay. So anyway, so these are the steps for word problems, all right? So when you're looking at a word problem, this is what you need to do. First, you need to read the problem thoroughly and not freak out, all right? A lot of students, when they first see a word problem, the first impulse they have is to freak out, and they do that whole Facebook meme post where they're like, if I have 5 apples and there's 25 coconuts on Mars, how many blah, 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 and like in lol memes, whatever. Don't freak out when you see a word problem, okay? Read it thoroughly first, okay? Okay, shh, listen. Read the word problem thoroughly first. Ask yourself what it's asking. Then, go back through and underline any numbers you see. Now, right now, I'm not going to be giving you any superfluous numbers. Superfluous means extra, okay? Great. Right now, I'm not going to be giving you any superfluous numbers, all right? Go through and underline any numbers. Then, you need to think about how you can create 2 variables. Off to the side, you're going to write what those 2 variables are and come up with two either letters or symbols to represent those variables, okay? If you want to use symbols all the way through, feel free.
We have to show all this on any
Mhm. I know, it makes it hard. It makes it hard.
You're gonna like do 2 questions on each page so we have a lot of work.
Or I'll give you a lot of time for the assignments. Okay, so you need to come up with 2 variables. When you come up with the 2 variables, then you need to think about what the 2 equations are. In this case, we had one equation for the number of zombies, which Annabelle came up with. It was z plus a equals 25, and that's where the 25 went, was down here. We had another equation which used the 5, the 3, and the 95, and that went here. We'll pick this up tomorrow. Have a good day, guys.
Is this due tomorrow?
I'm not giving you guys this assignment right now.